In the last year, I spent $3,783 trying to fix myself. The supplements and protein powders and weights and weighted vests and microdosing GLP-1 and sauna and therapy and all the things that promise I could look better, feel better, and be more like myself again. Yes, I knew I was spending money, but what I didn't know was what I was trying to buy myself. So today, while I bake a super easy, gluten-free apple galette with homemade caramel sauce on top, I'm gonna sort everything into 3 piles. What actually helped, what brought me comfort, and what simply sold me hope. Because I believe there's a difference between just caring for yourself and simply being sold a whole lot of stuff to try to fix yourself, when maybe you didn't actually need to be fixed. I don't know. Let's explore. I'm sitting here drinking a matcha latte and I'm trying to get my script right for next week, and it is a heavy episode about all the money I've spent trying to be a version of myself that I'm not, and it's a lot of money. And I don't know if I'm quite prepared to reveal it, but that's what I'm gonna do. All right, here are our rules for today. We've got 3 categories. The first is help. These are things that I really wish would fix me. Then we've got comfort. These are the things that just felt really good, whether they helped or not. I just loved having them in my life. Then we've got our tough category, which is hope. These are things, obviously, that I really, really, really wish would have made me feel better, but honestly, it's kind of a jump ball. And then I feel like I could also add a 4th category, which is like, Shannah, please explain yourself. But we're going for self-compassion as we build this galette. So I'm gonna leave that category off. To start our galette, we are gonna use a cheat. This is a 9-inch gluten-free pie shell. You can find this in almost any store nowadays. And we're gonna do this easy. If you're not gluten-free, just use regular refrigerated pie crust. But we're gonna take this out and turn this into the base of our galette, because we are unpacking a lot of emotional spends today. I don't need to make crust from scratch. If you wanna do that, go for it. I'm gonna give you an A+, but you can just make things easy. This is the messy part, hence why I am wearing an apron right now. Otherwise, I would probably get flour absolutely everywhere. But you're just going to massage this pie crust out of its little shell here, and it's gonna be sticky and it's gonna be gooey, but it's also going to be all right. All right, here comes the fun part. Put a little gluten-free flour around this, because gluten-free dough is notoriously very sticky and very combative. And now we're just gonna roll this out into whatever shape your heart feels like today. Circle, square, anything. It's meant to be rustic. You know, I didn't wake up a year ago or even 6 months ago and say, you know what, I'm gonna spend close to $4,000 to try and fix myself. It's all of those little purchases, you know, those sneaky ones, like $37 for some supplements that say, hey, I'm gonna reset all of your hormones, and those eye patches that everybody is talking about online that is suddenly gonna remove all of your eye bags, and the protein powder and the creatine and the weights and all of those things that are gonna make you wake up and be like, yes, here I am. I'm back to my original self. Okay, here's something that helped. I spent about $187. I know it has to be more than that, but let's go with that number right now. Protein powders. Whey protein, pea protein, any kind of protein powder that would basically make my life easier, because I always eat breakfast, but I do not like actually making a breakfast, so I like a really quick smoothie. So I'm gonna say that protein powders definitely is going in the help category. Here's the thing because gluten-free dough is really messy and particular and has feelings of its own, I like to use the finger in method to kind of spread it out. This is also extraordinarily therapeutic and helps you take out a lot of frustration, but it honestly doesn't matter what it looks like. If it's cracked, you just piece it back together. That's what we're working with here, my friend. It is 9:57 in the morning. I just got back from walking the dogs. I am a sweaty mess because it's very humid outside. And for some reason, my brain started thinking, I need a new menopause face cream. And I started searching, found all of these face creams. And of course, the one that is most expensive is the one I want. But I'm telling myself, let's not buy it. Let's just wait it out. It's gonna be okay. I have plenty of face creams. But why is it that I feel like I need it so badly? We're done with the messy part so the apron can come off. I am using Honeycrisp apples for my galette, but there's no wrong way to do this. You can use Granny Smith or whatever other apples really feel yummy and delicious to you. You can also leave the skins on, but I like to peel them just enough that we can get a little bit of a rustic look. Again, this doesn't have to be perfect. I have a peeler that doesn't always like me every day, so I just do my best. And if there are some red bits left, it's just gonna add to the scenery of this galette, I think. I'm only gonna peel about 2 apples for my galette. If you're using the gluten-free pie crust, it's a little bit smaller than if you were using regular pie crust. If you're going regular, you're probably gonna want 3 or 4 apples. But if you have apples left over and they have all this deliciousness on it that we're gonna put, you can bake them and serve them as a separate, like, super healthy dessert. So nothing in this recipe is going to go to waste, I promise you. I just wanted to pop in here real quick. First, say thank you so much for all the love on the videos. Please remember to subscribe. This is gonna help me grow my channel so I can continue to make these, but I have a really exciting announcement. Coming in September, I'm gonna be doing Bake It Out Live, virtual events. We're gonna bake together and we're gonna talk about one of these really hot topics and we're gonna work through it together. These are gonna be super fun events, like unlike any other virtual Zoom event you've ever been on, because at the end, you're gonna have something delicious and you're gonna have gone through a transformation. Please go to the link in the description. It's the sign up for the wait list. There will only be 30 people in each session, so make sure you grab your spot today. All right, back to the video. I spent about $125 on a pair of new tennis shoes, and those definitely went in the help category, except they drove me nuts and caused my feet to kill me, so I got rid of them and I bought another pair of I think those were $137 sneakers. Those actually helped, so those are legitimately going into that category. I also bought a weighted vest. I think I'm gonna put that under help category because I feel really good when I go out for a walk. It was a 15-pound weighted vest, and I don't know, I also just feel like a badass when I'm wearing it. So I'm just slicing up my apples here, and ideally you'd like these like 1/8 of an inch, but honestly, I don't exactly know what that looks like. So we're just gonna cut them as small as we want for our galette. Some people like their apples really thick. That's great. Might just take a little bit longer for your galette to cook, but you know, just sit here and slice them. And here's what I want you to think about while you're slicing. Nothing. I want you to think about nothing. Oh, I'm holding that knife in a really awkward position. I want you to think about nothing as you're slicing these apples. I'm gonna just try it. Here we go. I'm trying it, but it's really hard to do. That nothing thing. Where does your brain go? Mine's going all sorts of directions. Then I spent $327. I'm gonna put this under hope, although this could go under comfort, to bleaching my hair. I was born a natural blonde. I am no longer a natural blonde, and I'm really sad about this. And I've worn my hair bleach blonde for quite some time, and then I started to develop this allergy against the bleach, and then I went back to brown, and then I'm not sure I really liked it, so then I went back to bleach, and I really kind of struggled with it, and now I kind of like the brown again. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing, my friend. I don't know. but I'm obviously on the search for some part of myself that I feel was left behind. Then we had $268 I spent on red light therapy. I don't know, read lots of things about it, thought maybe this would be a fix. We're definitely gonna put that in the hope category. Then there was a subscription to the Calm app. I think that was another $75. That one I just intended to pay for forever, honestly. They're short little meditations, but sometimes my brain just really needs that in the morning or the afternoon or the evening, really basically any time of the day. All right, we are just gonna finish slicing these apples. And again, what are we thinking about while we're slicing? And why do I keep putting that knife in the air? That is so offensive to you. I'm really sorry, my friend. What are we thinking about when we're slicing the apples? Yes, that's right, nothing. Permission to go think about nothing. Now is the time to bring this magical galette together. We're gonna just pile our apples here in the center. There is no rhyme or reason for doing this. You just wanna leave enough of maybe like an inch or two border on the sides to fold up our galette. And you wanna make sure that you leave a lot of the moisture in the bottom, so you know, just kind of drip off of that because we don't want that to spill out as much as possible. All right, this is my favorite part. We're gonna fold up these edges. And what I love about this is the definition of rustic, of piecing it all together. If your dough cracks, just pinch it a little bit, give it a little love. If your apples overflow, just pile them up. No harm done. This is not supposed to look like a work of art. Actually, I'm gonna take a couple of these apples off the top. I got a little bit generous here. All right, this looks, I'm happy with this. I'm probably gonna have a little spillage because there are some cracks here at the bottom, but I am not worried about that because that is not gonna change how this tastes one bit. Are we happy with? Okay, now I'm being a little bit too perfectionist with this. We're gonna let this go, Shannah. Now we're gonna do a little egg wash. This is just a little egg beaten with some water, and we're just gonna brush it on the sides here. If you could smell this right now, like we have not put this in the oven, but it smells like Thanksgiving. It smells like apple pie, but the beauty of this is I didn't have to create that like crazy lattice work. I let this just be whatever it is. Why can't I do that for myself? Yeah. I just put a little bit of sugar on the outside. I'm gonna wait for my oven to come up to temperature. And I wanna talk about comfort. I spent $600, maybe slightly more. I couldn't find all of the receipts, but $600 on therapy. And I know therapy can cost a lot more. I was able to use my insurance plan and I feel very fortunate for that, but therapy is one of those things that both brought me a lot of comfort and helped, because I would not be standing here today. I would not even probably be making this show or have the courage to talk about all the things I'm talking about without therapy. So maybe that goes in all three categories. So many things to ponder and think about. Time to put this baby in the oven. Let's get her baked. The galette is in the oven, but I gotta be honest with you, there is a part of me that feels really nervous sharing these numbers, certainly in a public forum, because I feel like people are gonna have a lot to say about how they would have spent money and how they would have put it in different categories, and that just brings up a lot of shame. And even as a trauma of money expert who has studied this stuff, I'm still a victim of it myself quite often. So I'm outside, I'm in nature, it's a beautiful day, and I'm gonna spend the next 45 minutes while that bakes out here and try not to beat myself up about how much I spent on each of those categories. It's tough, but I'm gonna give it a go. All right, here we go. Here's the part I keep landing on. Why is it so easy to sell as the fix? This is the one that was really hard for me to place under a category. I spent $1,200 for a microdose GLP-1 for 5 months. And I was hoping that it would buy back my old self, that I would feel great again, that I would lose the perimenopause weight, but it didn't. I don't know. I didn't feel like myself. And that's not to say it was right or wrong. It just was what it was for me. So maybe the work was never going backward to who I was. Maybe it is finally learning to embrace who I am and who I'm becoming. That sounds like a really good idea. Can you remind me that at like 2 a.m. when I wake up in a stress fit about all of this? That would be really helpful. All right, let's get back to our galette. There she is. The juices ran out, the crust cracked. She is not asymmetrical, but she looks really fantastic. While she cools, let's add up all the categories. So here is where I spent $3,783. So $873 went towards things that generally helped me, okay? Ooh, that's interesting. Almost a tie. $880 went to things that brought me comfort, particularly in a tough year. And $2,030 went towards my comfort category, all of those things that promised I would be better, younger, a more acceptable version of myself. As I'm looking back, like these were all purchases that I made in a really good place, thinking like this is going to help me. But I think this is the part that I'm done paying for. I'm done apologizing. And I'm also done really hoping that a lot of things will change when I just really need to embrace the fact that they have changed and that there is nothing to fix. I can already tell this is going to be amazing. I made a super easy homemade caramel sauce. This is just heavy cream, a little butter, and some brown sugar with a little vanilla, and it's extra. You don't need to do this step, but oh my gosh. I think it's gonna be worth it. All right, let's be a little gluttonous because we absolutely can be. I just exposed all the money I spent to fix myself. So I am gonna go all out. Okay, that is really good. The apples taste just like a fall day, like Thanksgiving. The crust is perfect. You never know it's gluten-free. I think I don't need to stop buying things that support me, and I don't need to feel ashamed for wanting comfort. I just want to stop spending money being at war with myself. I'm still figuring out who I am at this stage of life, but I don't think I actually need fixing. I think I just need to be met here with a delicious galette and maybe a hug. I don't know. Definitely the hug. Definitely the galette. I don't look weird at all, do I, standing outside of my house eating a galette on camera? Nope. That's totally normal.